I'm going to show you how to ply on the fly on a Turkish spindle. This works really well with a Turkish because you can secure your working chain right on one of the legs of the spindle as you're going. As you can see, I've been spinning on this for a bit, so I have quite a cop built up so far. I will show you though how to start your first chain. If you were just starting spinning this one and you had a length of single to work with, you would butterfly up to the shaft and there would be your half hitch if you were just now spinning. What I found extremely helpful when trying to learn this technique was to rest the spindle down a lot. So where this table is normally would be my lap while I was spinning. So you get down to the shaft and you do an overhand loop and then you pull the yarn through. And that would be your first chain ply. If you let that go, you would have your 3 plies right there to work with, and then you would continue on in the normal fashion for chain plying, which we're going to do. So after you've started and you chain ply your first section, then you'll secure the loop on one of the legs, and I'll show you how to do that after as well. So now I've spun a single and I'm going to chain ply it. So you remove the half hitch. And the reason it's so much easier to rest it is you have a lot going on. You're keeping track of the fiber, your single, your spindle, loops, and everything. So this is a lot easier, I have found. I take the loop that's on the spindle and I put it on my pinky. So pull it out, stick my pinky in there. Now I have secured the loop for the chain ply. Then make a half hitch with the plied yarn and rest the spindle down again. And now I'm going to ply it back on itself and at the end give it a twist to give it a nice ply. But in the beginning I'm just going to allow it to ply back on itself without any additional twists. I was finding it extremely difficult to counterclockwise twist and keep up with it while I was trying to do the chains. So here's our leftover chain from the last time we were working on it. And you're just going to pull that open, and I need the spindle to be a little bit lower. I'm going to pull open that chain and then create a second one. And I like to only do about 2. There's one chain, and I'm just letting it ply back on itself. Then towards the end what I do, because I was running out of singles a lot to half hitch again, is I would put it over my middle finger so I had some extra room to work with. And then make the last loop, rest it over my middle finger, and that's the loop that we're going to secure on the spindle. So right now it's not moving at all while I'm doing this because it's resting. Then you can give it a nice counterclockwise twirl and let it ply. And if there's any bits that are not plied or are loose, I just manipulate them with my fingers as it's going. Those tighten up, and then you have a nice chain ply right there. So now you can wind this on to the cop like you normally would. And you wind on as far as you can go. And then you secure that loop on the closest leg. And you can pull the loop tight. And then do your half hitch for your singles, and then you're ready to continue on. And that's all there is to ply on the fly. Like I said, if you're starting to learn, it's much easier to rest the spindle in your lap while you're trying to do all of those things. Now I'll show you what that process looks like when I'm actually spinning and not hunched over the camera trying to get close-ups. So first I'm going to spin up a length of a single. And then I'm going to give it an extra flick because when you chain ply, the chain ply removes a lot of the twist from the single, so you want to give it a little bit extra. Then I'll butterfly up to the shaft, remove my half hitch, and then I'll get that loop that was secured on the leg, and I'll put that on my pinky, so now that's secured. Then I'll make a half hitch with the already plied yarn, whoops, or not. And now I can start my chain ply again. So I'll take my loop, and I'll let that ply on itself. I usually only like to make about 2 loops for each length. And then here, I'm going to go back over my hand and over my middle finger so that I have enough left over to make the half hitch for the next single. And then I'll ply up to there and get my middle finger in there, and now there's my plies. And I'll give it a counterclockwise flick, fix anything that's a little loose, and then there's my chain ply. And I'll remove my half hitch, and I'll wind that back on. Then when I get to the last leg that I can go to, I will secure my loop on that, and then pull it tight so that it's on there, and I can make my half hitch again. And this is where, when I went over my hand, that left just about enough to make another half hitch for the next single. And that is how you ply on the fly on a Turkish spindle.